It's time for part 5 of reviewing random objects that I come across while playing Half-Life 2. Today we are going to check out some iconic props from the game. The saw blade is one of the most satisfying objects to use with the gravity gun. While other objects might explode or do bludgeoning damage when launched at your enemies, the saw blade will neatly bisect them. This one is certainly a must-have when going through Ravenholm, but I'll pick it up whenever it shows up in the game. I'll give it a 9.9 out of 10. Up next, let's talk about the watermelons you can find hidden around the levels of Half-Life 2. According to a note found in his lab, Dr. Kleiner feeds these watermelons to his pet head crab. I'd love to see a head crab try to eat a watermelon, so hopefully Valve adds that to Half-Life 3. Also, the watermelons do explode in spectacular fashion when fired from the gravity gun, so in a first for this series, I will be awarding a perfect 10 out of 10. Next up, I thought it would be nice to take a look at some objects I found in Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Take a look at this road sign. This is supposed to be an international style road sign which tells drivers that there is no stopping or parking along the roadway. Technically, the standard for the stopping prohibited sign is that it must have a blue background. So I've got to take points off for that. It's also important to note that you can't just pull the signs out of the ground with the gravity gun, you have to run them over with the car first. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 10. I also found this log, which has a decent covering of moss. I love all the texture this object has, and if you look closely you can almost count the tree rings. It's also a decent weapon against the hunters found in this section of the game, who are especially weak to blunt force trauma. Aren't we all, I guess? I've got to give this log an 8.4 out of 10. This rock is quite similar to the log in terms of its use as a weapon in the game. However, it does have the tendency to break into little bits when fired from the gravity gun, rendering it slightly less useful. Again, it has an appropriate amount of moss or perhaps lichen that you'd expect from a rock found in a boreal forest, so I'll give it a 7.6 out of 10. Well, that's all for now. Tune in next time for some more reviews of random Half-Life 2 props.